Hello and welcome to New Earth Lifestyles. I'm Janee King, host of the show. And today I came without my bowl to gong us in, so we'll have to have a memory thing happen of gonging us in and taking a deep breath and letting it out, releasing stress out your out breath. And thank you for joining me today. I'm glad you're with me. May 15th, 2014. We're in Manchester, New Hampshire. It's a really nice, warm spring day, summery day out there today, even though it's overcast. So this show is about bringing to you, the audience and the viewer, an opportunity to look at life from a different perspective, thus new earth lifestyles. And the earth consciousness is shifting, and so the purpose of this show for me was to give you an opportunity to experience new people, new ways of looking at life, new experiences, ways of healing, ways of looking at your life. So I kind of invite you to check in with yourself throughout the show and see how you're doing, see if this is resonating with you or how does it resonate. And if you have any questions, feel free to call in. The number today is 603-413-0223, so I hope you can call in and join us in the discussion. And today I have a good friend, Wendy Scott Fletcher, who is a psychic and a medium and a Reiki practitioner, Reiki healer. So thank you for joining me today, Wendy.
Well, thank you very much, Janee, for having me.
Yeah, welcome. Nice to have you on the show. I met you through Dawn Drew, mutual friend. So thanks, Dawn, for introducing us. I remember meeting you up at the Vision of Light Church, I believe, when Dawn did a talk.
Yes,
I think that's when we first met.
Yes, it is.
And
yes. So 2 years ago now?
Maybe a couple years ago. Yeah, so I really felt a connection with you when we first met. And what I really liked about our connection was when Dawn was doing her talk at the church, you had this... you said, well, why don't we sit on each side of Dawn to kind of support her before her talk? And it felt really, I felt your heart when you said that. Maybe you probably can't remember doing that, but I felt that's really cool. It's really a nice thing to do. That I sat on one side of Dawn, you sat on the other until she was kind of around our supportive energy.
Yes.
To help her do her talk. So that was a nice introduction.
Definitely. And then getting to know you through your drums.
Mm-hmm.
And I came to one of your drumming
ceremony, I think it was.
Oh, yeah, we did a ceremony outside, and then there was something inside, and I bought one of your drums. And
that's right.
Bear.
You have a bear drum.
Yes.
Cool.
Yeah, it's so interesting. There were a number of drums, yet I was drawn to the bear. It's almost like I just walked up to it. You're mine, kind of thing.
That's how it works, isn't it?
Yes.
Wow, that's great. And so this is what you kind of do, is you listen and you're drawn to whatever it is you do. So maybe you can tell us a little bit about what it is you do.
Okay, well, I've tried this before.
You have?
Yeah, to explain what I do. And what I've learned, I kind of woke up back in the early 90s.
And woke up means?
Woke up means, oh, there's something else going on here. When my father-in-law passed away back in 1985, that was the first time I had experienced another spirit. He came through the night he passed. And I was totally like, okay, what are you doing here, kind of thing. And I could actually hear him in my head. And he said, I just need to make sure that Mary, his wife, can find the papers. And I said, okay, well, you go ahead and find the papers. I'm going to go over in the room with my daughter, who was 1.5 at the time, and do your thing. Just don't show yourself to me. Please don't show yourself to me. It was like, okay, I can take anything, but don't show yourself to me. So,
and he was on the other side. He'd already died.
Oh, well, I think he was in the middle of transitioning.
Okay.
I don't think he had truly passed yet.
Okay.
What had happened is my ex-husband's oldest is 6, and they all came back from the hospital, and they're filing in the door, actually. The phone rings, pick it up, and the nurse said, he's not going to make it through the night. So they just turned around and they went. And it was probably only maybe 20 minutes or something after they all left that I felt his presence.
I see. So they all went back to the hospital, and you stayed home, and
With the little ones.
oh,
yeah.
with the little
With
ones.
my daughter, and then with my nephew, because he was only 1 at the time.
I see.
Yeah, so there I was in a very quiet place, and nothing was going. I think it was 11:30 at night, 12 o'clock,
Oh, wow.
midnight,
And you were visited by the spirit
and I was
of your
visited by the spirit.
of,
Yes,
of this man that probably was in the process of passing.
yes.
Wow.
Yeah.
And how? So there was some fear or some trepidation around receiving this message.
Only because when I had been in college, a woman that I knew had lost her husband, and she was in one of my classes, and she was older, and she said how the night that he passed, she just walked into the living room, and there he was sitting in the chair,
And he'd already gone.
and he already had died,
Wow.
already had passed. He had been in a terrible car accident.
Ooh.
So all I could think of when I felt this presence around me was, oh no, he's going to show himself to
gonna
me.
sit in the
No,
chair.
I don't want to see it. I don't know why I was so scared. I have no idea, because since that time, Dick Sr.'s come around a lot. I still never totally see him like I see you.
Maybe you could ask him now. You said maybe you can tell him it's okay.
Well, I have been saying to different spirits, because I do work with spirits that come around me, and if they want. But I more see. I get an image in my head, or I get suicides every once in a while, or
Ooh.
young kids.
Really? They come to you after they've passed?
Yeah, like they're lost. I get the ones that need some help.
I see.
So I assist them. And one time I was living up, remember, in Vermont for 3 years. And one time I walked into the bathroom, and I didn't see him, but I kind of felt that there was this teenage boy there. And in my head, I see Bermuda shorts and a T-shirt, and he's got his head down, and he just he can't figure out where he is. He doesn't know what happened to him.
Wow.
And I've learned over the years, because this isn't the first one.
I see.
I think I first got suicides back in early 2003.
Wow.
I was living in Ithaca, New York. And so I've learned, you just go, okay, hi, and you just keep doing what you're doing, and they're there, they're not there, but they're there. And then once that trust is formed, and then you can kind of mention, oh, you're not here, you did pass. And then all of a sudden it kind of makes sense to them.
I see. So they don't know that they're dead.
No, they don't. And the first time I really got that was 9/11. When it happened, I heard I wasn't supposed to go down. I didn't have anything I needed to do. And then a friend of mine was bringing her daughter to New York City. I was living in Boston at the time. And she said, well, why don't you come down, and we're coming to New York City, and we can just hang out for the weekend. So I'm on the train, and I'm sitting there. All of a sudden, New York skyline comes in, and I feel somebody sitting next to me. And this has happened before, him. And I knew he was a firefighter, because I could feel all his heavy, gear on. And I've also learned that they just start in mid-sentence.
I see. They don't make a lot of sense initially.
Well, they just pretend like they've been talking to me for the last 20 minutes.
I see.
I don't know why, but it's repeated, all I can go by is the patterns that have come up for me. And so he just said, we found another one. And I said, oh, okay. And he said, yeah, and he was so earnest and so, it was so important. And I mean, and then within 30 seconds he was gone.
Interesting. So he came just for support?
I've learned, they'll come in and then I go, okay, now what do I do? What's my next step? Am I supposed to go down to ground zero? Am I supposed to just go see my daughter was looking at colleges.
I see.
So I said, am I supposed to go down and look at Eugene Lang, New School University? What do you want me to do? And I heard, go see Heather's school. Went down there, walking around the block, and all of a sudden I find myself standing in front of this bookstore called East West Bookstore on 5th Avenue and 14th Street that I had been to years and years before. Heard to go in, and heard means I just have this knowing I'm supposed to go in. And then I actually do hear voices, and this voice said, go talk to somebody that works in the store. So, it's that whole bit of trusting.
So you're really good at listening to your guidance and then acting on it immediately. So
Yes.
So you're right in the moment with all of your guidance.
Yes.
And you've learned how to distinguish if it's your guidance or just your thoughts.
Yes, which took me a while.
How did you do that? Because that's one of the big questions people ask. Well, what if I'm just thinking this? What if this is just my own thought process? How do I know it's true guidance coming through?
Trial and error
For you?
at the beginning, and then I'll get something like this where I ended up going and talking to the clerk, and I heard to ask him, do you know how to help people cross over? And do you have a section of books? And he said, yeah, come here, I'll show you. It's up front here. And then I hear numbers in my head for different kinds of things. And they said the 5th book over.
I see.
So I count 5 books over. If it's the same book, you don't count it double. And they said, open it up.
I see. So physical book, even if it's 5 of the same.
Yeah, So you count over 5 books. Opened up to the first chapter, helping people cross over from the Oklahoma City bombing.
Oh my!
Total chills.
Ooh, yeah. So that's your affirmation, isn't it? The chills, or some physical goosebumps, or some kind of a physical thing happens that this is real. This is what you're supposed to be doing.
All the books in the East West bookstore, and I'm in the right section, but still I pick up one, how to help somebody from the Oklahoma City bombing pass over, and there are helpers. So I knew I was supposed to buy the book. I knew I was supposed to go down. I could now go down to ground zero.
I see.
I ended up at a church, not the one that everybody talks about, but they led me to another one. Turn right, turn left. I've practiced that enough, to just drive somewhere. And do you want me to go this way, or do you want me to go that way?
Wow, that sounds like a great practice to practice listening once you've connected in.
Yeah.
To really practice, okay, which way do you want me to go? And then allow them to direct you that way.
Yeah. Like, do you want to, Dawn said, do you want to meet me at that, what was it, a church or
Vision of Light Church, Spiritualism and Healing. Yeah.
And then I get this kind of like hit, as I call it. Yes.
Firm,
yes. Like, just, okay, this is something I need to do. And then meeting you, and then knowing I've either known her before. So there's just this connection where you'll meet somebody. I met a lot of people that day, but yet it was this kind of, what do you call it? What do you call it?
Well, the words kind of left my mind as.
I'm sorry.
That's okay. I hate it when that happens. A divine intervention, I guess, or just it's a familiarity. It's like we've deja vu. We've been here before. We know each other. There's some type of an energetic many a lifetime connection or something that feels right. It just feels right.
Yes, and then through those different happenings,
Mm-hmm.
or you, because I again hear things in my head, you need to call Janee,
Mm-hmm.
right? Or you need to drive to Janie's house.
That's right.
So there's this voice over here going, how do I know? Okay, go to Janie's house. Well, how do I know that she's there? She'll be there. And so sure enough, I'm driving down from Vermont down to where you live.
New London, yeah.
New London, and I totally trust
I guess
it.
you do.
Yeah, and sure enough, you were home.
And I don't know why I looked out the window, but you drive into the side of the house where we don't normally park, by the little studio cottage there where we do the drumming stuff, and for some reason I looked out that window and I saw you drive in. I don't even know if I knew it was you.
I don't think you did.
But I had been using that studio for clients, so I actually walked out to see who was there, and it was Wendy.
And then I'm like, oh, thank you. I'm not crazy, because my life doesn't look like kind of most people's.
Well, that's kind of what happens, isn't it? When we go through this shift, whatever it is, this change from mundane life as we sort of think about 9 to 5-ish motherhood.
No ghosts,
no spirits, no talking in the head, to an apparition in the chair, a being that you know him, or in your head. You know the voice, you know it's him, and you know he's passing over, and because someone gave you that experience before to see the man in the chair. I mean, once you had that experience, it was already in your awareness, and it was already in your mind as a knowing possibility.
Exactly.
And so that was like the little thread that then told you that, oh, this really was him speaking to me. This is really real. I don't want you to show up don't saying that you don't want to see him because someone else did have that experience, so you already had that knowing. So this is how spirit does it, little at a time. There's like these little inroads, like that person that told you that story about so-and-so showed up in the chair.
Right. And if somebody's tuning in today and they're, who was that man when you had Carissa here? Dorman.
Yes.
And a man called and he said, I was flipping through the channels.
Yeah.
And what do you do?
Oh, yeah.
Remember that?
I do.
And so, and he called it, you only had like a minute
That's
and a
right,
half.
he called
2
at the
minutes,
end of the show.
Very end of the show.
Right.
And so if there's anybody out there and you're getting chills, you're, you, on some level, you're saying this is all crazy, yet there's a tiny part of you that goes and just
wants to know more.
That's a good way to put it.
Yeah. You can't leave it alone, but you think it's all voodoo or crazy stuff, but you really want to know more. So yeah, there's that place of realizing that you're on the cusp of kind of what happened to you back in the 80s with that experience with your ex-father, your father-in-law.
Yeah, he's always my father-in-law. He was very special. And talk about a connection. We always had a connection as soon as we met. It was just
another connection. One of those.
Connection.
I can't think of the real word. Those words I said weren't really exactly what I wanted to describe it. But that'll come in hopefully before the end of the show. So, you do this work, this play or whatever you want to call this, mediumship.
It's not really. I don't call myself a medium.
Okay.
Carissa.
Yes.
Is a medium.
Right.
She can really. I just went to a gallery event of hers.
That's right. It was last week. I missed it.
Yeah, it was Saturday night, and she was amazing. And she was just right there for people. And
well,
what?
If anyone wants to see Carissa when she with the show that she was on here, you can go onto my YouTube channel and go back in time, because the New Earth Lifestyles show that she was on is on YouTube. You can just Google New Earth Lifestyles. So I'm sorry to interrupt.
No, and she's around in Manchester and Bedford and Nashua, and she's just fantastic. And she
Great.
even brought my mother in. And it was the night before Mother's Day.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah,
How
and it was great.
auspicious for mothers to come in.
Oh, it was wonderful. And then she's, my mother is describing my oldest daughter to her. And I still chuckling about it because she said, well, your daughter's like this. And Heather is very, oh, I shouldn't be talking about my daughter. But anyway, she also said, but Heather is. She's very stylish and very, exactly the way Carissa brought her through. And then she said, she also doesn't believe in this woo-woo stuff that you do. And I went, that's my daughter, But she's very accepting and patient. And that's the other thing I think that's important, is that everybody's experience is going to be different. And if you did feel somebody come in your house, then more and more people are being able to express that without thinking that, they're going to
Go off the deep end and become psychotic or something, or have some psychological diagnosis that that used to happen. But more and more people are actually understanding that hearing voices in your head is hearing spirits, is hearing beings that have crossed over.
Or it could be your higher self.
Or your higher self.
Yeah. And it could be guides, angels. I mean, remember when nobody would admit they had an angel, they talked to an angel or felt an angel around them?
Right.
And now there are so many angel classes.
Right. Angel readings, angel classes, and connecting with your angel, how to connect with your angel. I actually have done that with some of my classes, and I know there's a lot of classes out there. And it's very simple. It's not really a hard thing to do, to connect in with your angel, because they're really wanting us to have that connection.
And to know that we're supported.
Absolutely, because that's what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're pure love. They're pure love here to support us, and they want us to call on them for help. But they can't push us. There's no pushing. That we have free will to do that. So they don't really. They wait. They wait until we open up with some experience like you had, or like other guests. A lot of people have. All of us have. We're all having all kinds of experiences all the time.
Yeah. And
Fun.
then we choose. As you said, free will.
Free will.
And then, okay, I'm going to choose to do this radio station, TV
show.
Interview.
Right.
Which.
So you kind of checked in to see if it was okay with them.
Exactly. I did. Okay, hey guys. And then it was, what do you want me to talk about? And it's interesting because I've already done 3 half-hour shows. And at first, the whole, oh my gosh, it's an hour. What am I, how can you...
What are you going to do for an hour?
What are you going to do for an hour? And it's that, what you were saying, just being in your heart and knowing that something that I'm saying is going to be important to you out there. And maybe give you some peace and tranquility for some reason.
Yes, because knowing or understanding that these voices or these experiences are real and they're normal can become peaceful and reassuring and help us to be tranquil in our lives rather than anxious and stirred up thinking there's something wrong.
Right.
And when there's nothing wrong.
There are other kind of voices which I believe, if you're feeling like they are saying negative things.
Right.
That's a whole different.
That is, and that's true. We do have to discern and learn how to discern between our angels and guides and higher vibration of guidance, as opposed to the possibility of the lower vibrations of guidance, which are not for our best interest, which may be harmful, because those do exist.
Yes, and I've always found that my guides are loving and caring and supportive, and they've never ever said anything mean or derogatory ever.
Ever. And so that's the big key, is when you're receiving these voices and this information, does it feel uplifting? Does it feel true? Are they supporting you? Are they buoying you and really in a loving, caring way? Or are they saying things that are nasty and words that would be putting you down? Then you absolutely do not want to continue that thought in your head, and you want them to go away. You tell them to leave. You just do not allow that to be in your awareness. And there are a lot of techniques for keeping them away.
Yeah, I've learned to say over the years, "Oh, thanks for stopping by. It's nice of you to stop by, and I want you to move on now."
Excellent. That's so gentle, isn't it? It's so easy and gentle, but you recognize them as coming along, and you're not needed here. You can go along.
Yeah, because what you resist persists.
Excellent. That's true. That's very true. What you resist persists. It's that thing of, if you push, you let something push back, but when you let go, there's no reason to be pushed toward. And that's a great analogy.
Yeah. That one took me a long time too. But, we eventually get there.
We do. We do.
Eventually get there.
We are getting there.
And what I love is, before, like in the early 90s, it seemed to take so long to learn something. And we didn't have the internet, so everybody is so fortunate to have the internet, because I can say to my clients, look up Ho'oponopono Ono. And they go, spell that for me, please. And then they can look it up. They can see a YouTube video of it. And I don't have to spend the time trying to explain to them, because listening to Dr. Lou is going to give them something, because it's coming right from him. From
the person that brought it up.
Right.
He didn't create it, but he brought it back into the world from an ancient place.
Yes. Yeah. So
that's true. The World Wide Web has done so much for helping us speed up.
So I use the analogy of an accordion.
Oh yeah.
Before, and then to come all that. Well, now it's just like this, and people can go here, there, and everywhere, and
even physical travel is so much faster with airplanes have been around a long time, but there was a time when there were no airplanes or no fast means of transportation.
Right, or it took you a really long time.
Right.
Yeah, because they didn't have enough fuel, and you'd have to, back in the 30s, coming from Australia, you would have to do puddle jumpers.
That's right.
Come
they had
across.
To fuel up.
Yeah.
Right.
So
we've come a long
way, baby.
A long way, baby. Well, let's gong on that one, even though I don't have the gong, and take a deep breath. Because breathing is so important, right?
Oh yes.
Helps to clear everything, and puts oxygen in our body, and gives us all kinds of opportunity to relax, especially.
And I'm also a breath facilitator. Took a workshop I think it was for a year. Nice. And just learning how many of us breathe here. It just takes little shallow breaths.
Right.
You just do the chest breathing, rather than the diaphragm breathing. Or sometimes I ask people, "Oh, were you in chorus?" And you got to take that big breath, and
belly has to expand.
Right, or you're pregnant, you're not pregnant.
That's a good way to look at it.
Yeah, because it's hard if you've been this kind of breather your whole life, and then going down to here. And I would say, be a balloon as you take in, which is so counterintuitive. Anyway, it was for me.
Yeah, it is you think when something's coming in, then you're pushing in, but rather you're expanding out your diaphragm.
Right.
Yeah.
So finally, guidance gave me this, because pictures pop into my head, and I saw somebody lying on the bed, and somebody pregnant, and I went, "Oh yeah, I get it. Okay, big breath, pregnant, not pregnant." And then how important it is to get oxygen to all those organs.
Yes.
Because if they don't have any, it helps them do their job.
Right. Oxygen is life-giving and transports all kinds of nutrients in and out. Nutrients and waste. Oxygen, when we breathe in, all that clean, fresh oxygen goes all through our whole physiology with the O2, and it picks up on the way the debris, what becomes carbon dioxide, but any other impurities that want to go out, that are going on, it goes out our out breath. So yeah, oxygen is a movement. It's what do they call it? Well, it moves in and moves out, and it's always traveling through our body, and it so picks up things and it lets out oxygen. It's very healing. It's rejuvenating, renewing.
And I've also found that when I have clients come to the house, because at a expo it's only 15 minutes, it's
Right.
kind of hard.
So
Unless
you have an
I
office in your house, a healing space.
a healing space, the people come, yeah.
Oh, nice.
And or I do a lot of phone
I see.
sessions, because I used to live in Oregon, in Corvallis, Oregon,
Ah.
and I don't know why, but I haven't lived there since 2008. And last fall, all of a sudden, I'm getting all these calls from people in Oregon,
They're looking you up.
yeah, or word of mouth,
I
and
see.
or it's, oh, I've got to call Wendy again, kind of thing. So what we do, I just had somebody yesterday from Oregon,
Wow.
and she knows the drill. Okay, take a deep breath, and then just release all whatever. When they come to the house, okay, release getting here, not, maybe taking a wrong turn, whatever. And so you're doing it physically, you're also doing it emotionally, and you're doing all the mental chatter,
Letting that go.
letting that go.
Out your out breath.
And the places I tell people to let the breath out is the bottom of your toes,
Ah.
underneath your feet. Your Achilles heel is really a good place. And you can breathe in and out of those places. So if you...
Want to do that? Want to do a little exercise
Yeah.
for people that are watching?
Yeah.
Breathing out your in and out.
Okay, so you have to sit up straight,
Okay. And with your
And-
feet flat on the floor?
feet flat on the floor, even though
Yeah, it's hard with these high chairs.
yeah, but anyways, and I just tell people kind of relax, so they put them on their
Put these on your thighs.
thighs, and breathe in, and then
So you're breathing in and out your mouth or your nose, or how do you do it?
I don't know. I mean, I've had teachers that say, oh, you breathe in your nose and you blow out your mouth. And then I've had people say, no, it's got to be both, nose, and then no, it's got to be just mouth breathing. Do what works for you. I
That's a
mean,
good
just
way.
yeah, just
Yeah, because there are all different methods of breathing: nostrils, no nostrils, or both nostril and mouth, or one nostril at a time.
Oh yeah, I did do that.
Yogic breathing.
Right, I did do that.
It's all different. There's
It's
so
all
many
different.
ways of breathing.
When you're at home and you're doing your own, you're releasing. You have the intention. It's all about intention.
Intention, right.
Right. So I've had a crazy day at work. I just want to just take a breath. You can do this in your car even. And you just take a breath.
With your eyes open, of course.
No, I mean when you're parked.
Oh, okay.
You've gone to work and then you go out to your car.
Okay.
And you say, oh, that day was, you don't want to take it home.
No, you don't. You want to leave it there.
You want to leave it there. So I tell people to take a big breath above their head. Don't try to mentally grasp your head around it. Just
Take
you're
a big-
taking a breath from here.
Okay, so you're imagining
Yeah.
the breath
And
coming
then and then it just kind of cascades down you, front and back.
in.
And then a lot of people, of course, and we'll do this maybe 5 or 6 times, depending, because when somebody breathes, I can see, oh, where is it sticking?
Okay.
Or,
So you're watching, if they're in your healing studio, then you can see that where it's sticking, or you can see it telepathically if
Yeah.
you're on the phone.
if I'm on the phone,
Mhm.
I just know,
You can feel where it's not
I can
going.
feel where it's sticking, and I say, okay, let's go back to your shoulders. Breathe into your shoulders.
And you probably get that information how? By you kind of become their body, or?
Before any session, I call in my guides and angels, higher self, theirs. I call in the team for that session.
The team for the session.
Team for the session. I
Okay.
have teams for moving. I have teams for, all sorts of things. The team for the TV studio.
Ah, and they're not really defined. They just know who they are.
Yes, because you've asked for, please help. So I've gained permission, obviously, because they're calling me, and yeah, they're willing to do
The
this.
client.
The client. And so sometimes I actually see it. Every once in a great while, I feel it.
Okay.
Okay.
So you see it like on your mind screen.
On my mind screen. Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, I like that mind screen. Yeah.
I mean, you
I'm
see it in
seeing-
your head somewhere.
Yeah. I call it my mind's eye.
Your mind's eye. Okay.
Yeah, little eye that's here, and I can see. And
Which is really there.
yeah, and 9 times out of 10, it's true. Like, I can tell if somebody's had a hysterectomy, or yeah, I'll say, okay, you've had a hysterectomy. Yep, I had a hysterectomy.
Because of the way they're breathing.
No, because of what I'm being told in my ears.
Oh, I see. Okay.
So then, where the breathing comes in is that, you still have a little stuckness in there from all the trauma, either to your cells, or it was very emotional to you, okay? Or, you just stressed about it. You just thought about it so much, and it was upsetting for you.
Right.
So then taking a deep breath, and then let's go out your toes this time.
Yeah.
And then they can, I don't know how it works, and it just goes out their toes. And then sometimes I hear, not the toes. Okay, take a breath, let's go out your Achilles heel. And then I'll hear, oh, should she do better if she did it out her tailbone? So then I'll say, okay, take a breath, and now think of your tailbone and have all that energy just go right down out your tailbone.
So it's individualized, and because you're getting the guidance that you've asked for before you began the session with this particular client. So the guidance is coming in for this particular client's session.
Right.
To tell you where to have them breathe.
Tailor-made. It's
Tailor-made.
They're
Tailbone made.
Yeah, right. They're so
Ham bone
funny.
made.
They're saying we're not a McDonald's.
Aha. They're not. You just got that.
I just
We're
got
not
that.
a McDonald's. You just got it through the team told
Yeah,
her.
once everybody, we offer variety, I guess. I don't know.
Not a McDonald's. It's not one size fits all. That's not,
Right.
drive in and get whatever. What do they have? Big Mac? I don't even know what they have at McDonald's.
Big Mac.
Big Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
So interesting. So thanks for coming through. What else do you
Yeah.
want to talk about?
What else do you want to talk about?
Because that's great.
Yeah.
So the work you're doing is fabulous.
Well, people are very, very grateful.
Great. Because you're making, or changes are occurring based on the work you're doing.
Well, yes. And they realized that they didn't know they were holding things in. I mean, if you know better, you would have done better, right? If you knew you had something that you were holding on to, even though, I was doing, what were we doing? Was it weekly? Meditation, healing.
Circle, like a group?
Yeah, at the Foundation of Light in Ithaca, New York.
Oh, I see.
And I was leading the healing group.
Okay.
So many times we'd have people get on the table and we'd do a Reiki or the hands-on healing or whatever comes through. And so this woman's on the table, and she happened to be on the board. And so obviously this woman had done a lot of work.
On the board of the organization.
Of the organization. Thank you. Thank you for helping me out.
Well, I pictured her on a board, but it's not a board, that kind of board.
And see, you were seeing in your mind's eye. Anyway,
Right.
so I had my hands on her, and I hear, Okay, what happened to you? Were 18 and I'm seeing a school bus.
Ooh.
And she said, really? Again? I thought I'd dealt with that.
A lot of people say that when things come up. I thought I was done with that.
Okay, so what I got recently was, I used to explain it one way, and then somebody said, well, Wendy, why don't you just say that it's a fleck? Because everybody know what a fleck of dust is.
Right.
You know, it's just something that's still in there.
Mm-hmm.
And it doesn't have to be, somebody asked me, well, why is it so important to get rid of the dust? And a lot of times my answer is, I don't know. They're bringing it up. Let's just take a breath and let's just release.
Mm-hmm.
Because years ago, I used to do a session like, oh, I'm seeing a past life. Oh, let's see what happened.
Oh,
no, you know. So now what I do with people, you had a past life as something, blah, 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 and you were killed on the battlefield, and there's the cells keep memory, as we were talking before the show.
Right.
And and it's still in there. Because it's not just your physical body in this lifetime. I've seen past lifetime.
Right.
So let's just take it out.
It's in your energy body. Yep.
Who knows? If it comes through, I trust them enough to know it's important.
And you take it out, and people can be healed spontaneously, remission of whatever.
Well, I feel calmer. I feel more at peace.
You do.
No, they do.
Oh, they do.
Well, I do too. It's kind of nice, It is.
Yeah. It is really nice to be at this level of healership, helping people, because it's a mutual help.
Yes. Yes.
That's what you find too. That when you're opening and it's your impression, your passion. You're doing what you're here to do. What spirit or God or goddess or the universe is wanting you to, because that's how you got here. But from all the guidance of telling you where to go, what to do, and you're following it. And so when you're there with the client on such a divine level, it is divine. So when they have a wonderful experience or a shift happen, it's
a shift. Yeah.
Yeah, it's felt by you, the healer, as well.
Mm-hmm. It's that purity.
Purity.
Yeah, it's the purity that the space is, and they wouldn't be there if they weren't ready to go to the next step.
Right.
On their journey.
Right.
And for years, because I don't see future, I see past.
I see. Okay.
And that's always hard to explain.
A lot of people want to know what's going to happen, but your technique helps to release what's gone on in the past that's still in their energy.
Yeah, because I've gone to friends and they just all say one after the other, Wendy, you're a healer. Wendy, you're a healer. And I'm thinking, well, how can I be a healer? I mean, believe me, my mind has gone through every scenario about, oh, this couldn't happen, and this isn't true. Mm-hmm. And then when I surrendered and realized, oh, okay, so hang on. Okay, this is what happens to me.
They're coming through.
They're coming through loud and clear. Well, they've been coming through the whole time, but now I'm getting one of those, okay, Wendy, stop. Okay. So whomever's out there, whatever healing energy that I'm bringing through right now at this time into the camera, and it's also the energy that we've created in this space. Mm-hmm. And if anybody's getting chills out there, just know you can set the intention in whatever's coming through for me right now. It's okay. I'm willing to receive. I don't know who this is for, but anyway.
So you've just sent out some beautiful energy, some beautiful healing from your guides, and no words are necessary. Mm. And how are you feeling around that?
It's such an honor,
Mm.
and it's such a responsibility. I think that's why I also bucked it for quite a while.
Mm-hmm.
Like, well, who am I, and I can't
Right.
possibly do this. And
Mm.
then I get more clients and more clients, and wherever I go in
Asking
the
you
world.
to do this.
Yes, yeah. I call it have spirit will travel, and okay, you want me to go where? There are all these stories that are in my book that it will be coming out.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're writing a book.
Yes.
And when will it be coming out? Is
Okay.
it?
Yeah, they're saying September now. I mean,
Okay.
I've been writing the book since forever, and I went to a psychic in the early 90s, and they said, you will write 3 books. And I'm like, okay. And so then every time I tried to sit down and write a book, it didn't happen.
Mm-hmm.
And then finally, 10 years later, no book.
Mm-hmm.
And I was so upset one day. I was just crying, and I said, I don't understand. All these psychics, because through the 10 years, you're going to write a book. You're going to write a book. And I go, it's not here. So then what happened is they told me, Wendy, you're writing the book every day
Oh.
because of all the adventures I've had.
Ah.
All the things, so the story of what actually was going on in the firemen
Uh-huh.
that sat on the train next to me.
Oh, yeah.
I've typed that all up,
Okay.
and that will go into the book.
I see. So these experiences are becoming your book.
They are my book.
They are your book.
Yes. Yeah.
Lovely. And how far along in writing it are you?
I've typed up maybe I don't know, 15, 20 little short stories.
Oh, nice.
Yes. So
Are you waiting for them to say when you've had enough?
Yeah, right.
When you've written enough or whatever.
Yeah. I said, couldn't we have done this in 3 installments? And they said no.
Oh.
And again, it was because the internet,
Mm-hmm.
the book would have gotten lost, they said,
I see.
otherwise.
Mm-hmm.
And then also because you have TV stations,
Mm-hmm.
and yeah.
Great. Well, I'm looking forward to when that book will be coming out in September.
Yes.
I would love to read it.
Okay. You're
Excellent.
on the list.
All right.
Yeah, you're on
Put
the
me
list.
on the list of wanting a copy. So you brought this picture here. I don't know if we can see it, but do you want to talk about it?
Sure.
Oops.
Okay.
So,
All right, so this was, I went to live in Charlottesville, Virginia, and I met this woman who channels art. And she opens herself up, and these drawings come through her.
I see. Okay.
And she gave workshops with her husband, and, I didn't take any of her workshops, but it was one of those things. I knew there was a connection.
So you
as
needed
were
to
saying.
have, and so this is a,
So I was moving or she was moving, and I said, I know that you have something for me. And she said, okay. And, it's one of those things. I heard to call her up.
uh-huh.
And so I went over to her house, and she said, I've put like 10 of them in a semicircle in the living room
Of these?
of different paintings that she had done
Ah,
over the years.
okay.
And so I didn't want to be in any way biased, so I went in like this. And I looked at the first one, I looked at the second one, the third, and the fourth. I think that was the fifth, maybe. And I just started crying.
Mm.
And I'm like, I said, that's me. I'm getting chills. Are you guys getting chills?
And if you look at this, it's a beautiful impressionist type of
Well,
piece of artwork, but it has a spirit here.
yeah, there's a
Over
spirit
here, there's
there.
a spirit. I don't know if you can see it on the TV or not, but there's a spirit there, and
The energy, light, healing,
coming out the hands.
coming out the hands.
Beautiful. And you had emotional connection with this.
Totally emotional.
huge connection.
Huge connection. And and Deborah told me, her name is Deborah Bartello, and Deborah said, I knew that was for you. I painted it like 8 years ago, And I was told through her guides, because she's a channel as well, never to sell that.
Oh my.
Yeah.
Beautiful, Wendy. That is
So I have
beautiful.
the original at home, and then
Oh, this isn't the original.
no, it's a real, a drawing she did.
You'd have to study it and really look at it. There's a lot of energy moving in this.
Yes.
A lot of energy moving in that. So, thank you for sharing that.
Oh, you're
And
welcome.
so this was a portrait of you.
Yeah, it's me
by someone that didn't know you.
that didn't know me.
That's how spirit works.
That's how spirit works. So many times we'll do something, I'll do something, and I have no idea why I'm doing it.
And that's why it's important to follow guidance. And so.
Yeah. Get to know this woman named Dawn. Okay. Oh, she's inviting you to go to this place way down an hour and a half. How far was it from my place?
Yeah, it could have been an hour
and a half. And you're supposed to go. I am? Yeah. And here we sit here today.
Yes, absolutely. A couple of years later, we're doing this TV show together and showing people that that's important to listen to guidance.
Yeah.
It's important to look at ways that life can change, that how your life can change by listening to what Wendy knows, what you've gone through in your life, and what I've gone through, and everyone that comes on the show has an amazing life story that has shifted and changed. Carissa had I can't remember her specific life story, but Carissa and Lisa and there's another Wendy that came on that had an amazing experience when her son was born, and these are real things, but we don't realize it necessarily in the moment. Like you didn't realize it in that moment, but it kind of found its way into your life. It finds its way in to to changing your life so that you are living more in your purpose, in your heart, in the way that is best for you to now be of service.
Yes.
Now you're of service to all of us, all of us. And whatever, just what you just did here was a huge service to the viewers. If you could, I'm sure there's people out there that felt that energy that came through. And being of service is what it's all about, isn't it? And it's interesting how our journey here, we all go through this stuff, this life, this mud, you might call it mud, or difficulties, or struggles, and we all find a way eventually, or hopefully that's the goal for me, and hopefully, and for you, and for I'm hoping for everyone. The goal is to come up and move up and bloom, up out of the mud and bloom and become who you truly are, and know your purpose, and become of service. That's been one of my big things too. Is I really want to be of service to the world, and I guess this is how I'm to be of service: is bringing people like you, Wendy, on the show, and you can express what you're doing and inspire other people out there, the audience, to look at yourself. Look at yourself. What do you do? What's your struggle about? What is life about? How can you change it? Do you want to even change it? Do you want to be happier? Because it feels like you're a happy person.
Oh, yes. 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 And I've been through a lot. I mean, like we all have. And bringing more light, because when there's darkness, there's no light.
Right.
And then you bring light, shine light onto a situation. What's really going on here? I call it walking around the circle.
Ah, that's a nice way to look at it.
And what can I learn?
Well, yes, because everything is a learning, isn't it?
Yes, and we get pop quizzes, and we get tests, and we get midterms and finals.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Wow. They're really on you.
Oh, yes.
But it's about love.
Well, it's everybody. Yeah.
Yeah, it's everybody.
Yeah, if you're not listening, they'll kind of, you shouldn't be doing that. I'm fine.
Oops.
The next time something happens, and then you get, you're not listening, and then it'll happen again, but it's a little bit bigger. And then
it keeps on going like that. Well,
yeah.
We're getting close to the end. Now, Wendy, you have a website.
Yes, it's wendyscottfletcher.com.
Great. So if anyone out there wants to know more about Wendy or get in touch with Wendy, you can go to her website, wendyscottfletcher.com. And Wendy's right here in New Hampshire.
Yes.
So you're
Hampstead.
Hampstead.
Yeah.
Okay. Excellent. So if you need to get a hold of her, that's how to do it on the website, because the World Wide Web is
Yeah. Has
Everything.
everything, and it has some of the stories there about my father-in-law, and
Oh,
then
yeah.
it has some others. Mother Mirror, my experience doing that.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, so there's a lot there. So I welcome you to take a look, and if you have any questions, my phone number's on there, and
Okay.
or email, whatever feels comfortable to you.
Right, so all your contact is
Yeah.
on your website.
Yes.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Well, this has been fun, Wendy. Is there anything we didn't cover that was on your to-do list that they gave you to talk about? We have a couple more minutes left.
Just thank you for what you're doing. My goodness, it's like you said, it's so important, and it's also important for you. One person you're going to feel a connection with,
Mhm.
and maybe somebody else not, and that's okay. And if you go to it, always trust your intuition. You know, that
Absolutely.
gut kind of feeling.
Right.
And maybe you turn the paper and you see some psychic fair in, is it Manchester this
Oh, yeah,
Sunday?
There's two psychic fairs. One's in Bedford on Sunday.
It's Bedford, that
Yeah, are
one.
you going to be coming to that? Are you going to be reading at that one?
Not reading at that one. That's part of the Manchester.
Yes, the Greater Manchester
Manchester.
Holistic Meetup Group. Lisa Ouellette and Ouellette and Holly Sutherland and that group. And actually, I will be there reading feathers. So if you want to come and
Oh,
meet me and see me, I'll be there reading feathers Sunday. That'll be at the Country Inns and
Inn
Suites.
Yes.
Yes, that's on 250 South River Road in Bedford.
Yes.
Great. So I'll be there this Sunday. I'll also be at Norm's fair on Saturday.
Okay.
And that's in that's going to be in Londonderry, and you can go to my website to find that. Or I can't remember the whole name of it, but it's on Orchard Drive
Okay.
in Londonderry. So if you want to come and get a feather reading, or actually that one I'm going to also be selling my drums. So if you want to play with drums and rattles and stuff, I'll have some of those at Norm's Fair, and that's 10 to 5 in Londonderry. It's right off of, I think it's right off 93. I think it's Orchard Drive.
And
So-
the Manchester one on Sunday is from 10 to 4, right?
10 to 4.
Yeah.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
That'll be fun. There'll be people there doing readings. At both of these fairs, there'll also be people selling holistic or different items, candles or jewelry, or I'm hoping to see the person with the salt lamps
Oh, okay.
I'd like to get one of those. So you never know.
You never
All
know.
kinds of good stuff and nice people to meet, and people that are open-hearted and on the journey that we're on to uplift and to be of service and to bring healing and health, full health into the world, and helping all people out there to awaken and to open up to, right? To open up to
Oh, yeah.
themselves, to open up to yourself and your higher self and what you're here to do, because we're all here, I believe, for a unique reason and a higher purpose.
And to support one another.
Absolutely.
Yeah, you don't have to do this all alone. You don't.
No.
No.
That's true. We're here to support. So thank you for joining us, and until next time, next week I will have my guest on the show will be my friend Isabel Tierney. She'll be coming in from Colorado, either by phone or by Skype. We haven't decided which way we're going to do that, so hope you can join us next week. And until then, be well, and remember, your heart knows the way.